Welcome to Crime Uncovered, where the darkest secrets come to light and every mystery leads to a chilling truth. Today we will uncover the tragic murder of Dulce Ivana. Stay with us as we unravel the shocking details behind this chilling and senseless murder. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification. You won't want to miss a single twist in this haunting story and many more true crime stories only on Crime Uncovered. Dulce Ivana was not just another teenager from Leon, Guanajuato, Mexico. She was a bright, ambitious 16-year-old with the world at her feet. Born on November 2, 2003, Dulce grew up in a warm, loving family, a household that cherished her energy and joyful spirit. As a child, she was the light of her parents' lives, always full of laughter, always seeking to help others. Her younger sister, Anahi, was her closest confidant, the two of them sharing dreams of their future, supporting one another through thick and thin. As Dulce entered her teenage years, she blossomed into a vibrant young woman. She was popular among her peers, known for her quick wit, infectious laugh, and determination. Dulce's future was bright. She had big dreams of finishing high school, going to college, and carving out a successful career in a world that was wide open to her. She didn't want to just exist. She wanted to make something of herself, and her family supported every step she took. But that was before December 10, 2019, the day her life was brutally cut short. That day, her future was stolen, and her family's world was turned upside down. Dulce was a young woman with an innate sense of kindness and compassion. Her dreams weren't just for herself, but for her family as well. She wanted to make them proud, to prove that she could overcome the odds and achieve everything she set her mind to. But it's precisely these dreams that set the stage for what would happen that fateful day. It wasn't unusual for a teenager to face rejection, to deal with the turmoil of growing up, of navigating friendships, relationships, and high school. But some young hearts could not handle rejection in the way others could. For Dulce, she had set her boundaries. She had her sights set on a future that didn't include someone like Antonio, the young man she had known for years, who had been pursuing her despite her repeated refusals. Antonio, a local boy from a similar social circle, had been fixated on Dulce for quite some time. But despite his repeated attempts to win her over, she had made it clear that she only saw him as a friend. This was something Antonio could not accept. His love, or what he considered love, was one-sided. When Dulce turned him down once again, something inside Antonio snapped. The anger and frustration he had been harboring for years finally reached its boiling point. December 10, 2019, was supposed to be a normal day for Dulce. She had woken up early, showered, and prepared for the day ahead. She spent some time studying before having breakfast with her sister, Anahi. The warmth of family filled the house, but little did anyone know that this would be the last peaceful morning they would experience. Around 10 a.m., Dulce left her home with a clear mission: to sign up for high school, an important step towards her future goals. It was a simple, everyday task. She said goodbye to her sister, who didn't think twice about it. After all, Dulce had been out and about countless times, always coming home by the end of the day. Hours passed and there was still no word from Dulce. Her family tried to reach her, but their calls went unanswered. This was strange. Dulce always had her phone on her. As the hours stretched on, their anxiety grew. By evening, it was clear something was terribly wrong. The young girl who had never disappeared without a trace was now missing. But the police, when called, refused to act immediately. They told her family that they had to wait 24 hours before they could report a person as missing. This delay, coupled with the indifference of the authorities, made the family's situation even worse. Finally, Anahi, frustrated and desperate, took matters into her own hands. She went to the prosecutor's office, only to be dismissed. The police suggested Dulce had run away with a boyfriend, but Anahi knew better. Her sister would never do such a thing. With no help from the police, Anahi fought for an Amber Alert, and after pushing the authorities every day for a week, it was finally issued. By then, Dulce had already been missing for over a week. The search for Dulce Ivana intensified, and the nation began to take notice. What began as a local tragedy spread across the country and even beyond. People were moved by the story of this bright, promising young girl who had disappeared without a trace. The media picked up her story, and soon it wasn't just Leon, Guanajuato that was searching for her, it was Mexico as a whole. The breakthrough in the case came when a mysterious tip led the police to a disused lot, where they discovered a body. The body was badly burned, unrecognizable at first glance, but DNA testing confirmed the unthinkable: it was Dulce. Her family was informed, but the truth was devastating. It wasn't just her disappearance, it was the brutal way she had been murdered. An anonymous tipster claimed that his son Antonio had admitted to the crime. Antonio was soon arrested, and the investigation began to uncover the horrifying details. It turned out that Antonio had been a close acquaintance of Dulce's, known to their mutual friends. He had been relentlessly pursuing her for months, despite her continued rejections. But when she told him once again that she only saw him as a friend, Antonio's obsession turned to rage. Dulce's family tried to piece together what had happened that day. Witnesses who saw her between 10 and 11 a.m. on December 10th said she had been talking with Antonio in a calm manner. They didn't see any signs of violence or distress. Dulce had been chatting with Antonio as if everything was normal. It was only after their conversation that she disappeared, and it wasn't long before her family would learn the tragic truth. Antonio, unable to accept Dulce's rejection, chose to take revenge. Investigators pieced together the details of the crime. After the rejection, Antonio kidnapped Dulce, taking her to an isolated area where he murdered her. What's most chilling was that, despite the horrifying crime, there were no witnesses. No one saw the moment of murder. Antonio's rage had been so intense, so quiet, that no one had heard Dulce scream. The case was further complicated by the lack of a clear cause of death. Dulce's body had been so severely burned that an autopsy could not fully determine how she had died. Was it suffocation? Was it something else? The investigators could not say for certain. But what they did know was that Dulce's death was a tragic act of senseless violence. Antonio's arrest seemed like a moment of justice for Dulce's family, but the battle was far from over. Despite his confession, Antonio's trial dragged on for months. The justice system moved slowly, and the delays caused frustration and despair. Dulce's family, particularly Anahai, who had become the face of their fight for justice, spent their days at the prosecutor's office, filling out endless paperwork, hoping for answers that seemed to never come. The public was also outraged by the slow pace of justice. This was no isolated incident. This was part of a larger problem in Mexico, where femicide and violence against women were all too common, and justice often came too late. In March 2021, just as the world was beginning to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic, Dulce's family learned that Antonio might face a sentence as short as 5 years. This news sent shockwaves through the country. The crime, which had captured the attention of so many, was now being reduced to a mere slap on the wrist. Despite the widespread outrage, the case continued to drag on. The court system seemed more interested in protecting the criminal than in serving justice for the victim. Antonio's family, instead of acknowledging the gravity of the crime, attempted to defend him, posting inflammatory comments on social media and blaming Dulce for her own death. Finally, after months of delays, the trial concluded. Antonio was sentenced to just 5 years for his role in Dulce's murder. The verdict was met with anger and disbelief. For Dulce's family, the fight for justice was not over. They knew that the system had failed them. They knew that the justice system in Mexico often turned a blind eye to crimes against women, and they weren't willing to let their sister's death be forgotten. Anahai, after speaking publicly about her frustration with the justice system, vowed that Dulce's story would not be swept under the rug. Her sister's life mattered. Dulce's memory mattered. And while the fight for justice may never bring Dulce back, it would ensure that her death wasn't in vain. Dulce Ivana's story, like so many others, is a painful reminder of the systemic failures that allow crimes against women to go unpunished. It's a story of loss, of injustice, and of a family's fight to ensure that their loved one's death is not forgotten. For Dulce's family, the journey is far from over. They will continue to raise their voices, demanding a better system, demanding justice, and ensuring that Dulce's legacy lives on. If you found Dulce's story shocking and heartbreaking, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into true crime cases.